Carlos de Cleermaecker is the Equestrian Australia state coach for Queensland. Carlos, would you like to tell us about where you grew up and about your early riding and coaching history?
Yes, of course. So, finally, I'm born in the Congo in Africa, Central Africa, which was a Belgium colony. And that was in the years 1955. And my parents were living there to the years 1960 because the Congo was then independent and it was very dangerous to live there. So we moved back over to Belgium. Finally, my first language was French and I had to go to Belgium and learn Flemish. Anyway, I was 7 years old when my father was looking for something sport, and because he loves the animals, he was thinking to start with riding. So we did that, and finally we started to ride by very good show jumper. That was René van Paasen. Stanny and Eva van Paasen were his children and did international show jumping competitions. And we start just to have fun there and to do it like recreation. And finally, before I started dressage, I was a show jumping rider. And I finished the school and I was so... I love so much the riding and the way, with horses and with animals, that I asked my parents to try to do my business in that. But it was at that time, that was in 1973, it was also not so easy to find the right schooling to do that. Belgium had no riding school there. I had the choice between Germany and France. And I took the choice for Germany because they had always a very good reputation. So when I was 18, I went down to Germany and no idea about the German language. So I had to learn another language like German. And in this riding school in Münster, which is a very popular riding school still, they moved from the one place to the other, but the name is still the same. We had a very good school leader who was doing the school for 20 years, I think. And I did my level 2 there. And then after that I went to Johan Hideman, who did at that time on this school his level 3. And I went then to his place for 6 months. Had to go to the army for 10 months, and went back to Germany for 7 years to Heinz Lammers, who had a very big dressage stable, like 80 horses. And that's the way that finally, after my level 2, where we had to do the boats, still for your level 3 you have to do the boats, show jumping and dressage, but my direction went to the dressage by being by Johan Hinnemann and by being by Heinz Lammers, who was in the top in the dressage in Germany. So that's a little bit my history about how I came to horses.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. And also, what are your responsibilities now as the coach in Queensland?
So what I learned is, and my responsibility finally is to make the dressage a lot, to improve the dressage in Queensland. And my help function I find by myself is to teach Queensland, not just in Queensland as coach, but also other areas, is on the basic, work quite a lot on the basic, because this is something what comes a little bit too short in Australia, I think. And when you don't have the basic really true, it's very difficult. You need a good fundament to build horses up to the high level.
And what do you think the future is for dressage in Australia?
Well, the future in Australia, I mean, we are going uphill. We have the breeding starts to be really well. We breed with international horses from overseas, the best one. I think we need perhaps still a couple years more to have this really well done, but we are on a good way. We have a big progress in Grand Prix riders, also in Queensland. It started with 2, and I think Nicole said now we are like with 12 Grand Prix riders, and so little by little it goes uphill. We have very good small 2 riders. The Grand Prix riders will come. That needs time. What I think what we should do, but costed money, is I think the good combinations, the talent riders, the good horses should go so overseas and finally compete with the top of the world to know exactly where we are, because we are winning with 65-66%. In Europe you will be number 25 by 50 riders, which is all right, but that would be a motivation, because you learn and you talk to people, you see how people are training, you ask questions, and you try to get better. When you're always winning at home with 65, you're happy with that because you win, but there you don't be happy because you're number 25 perhaps, or the 20, so you like to be better, and this is really a motivation to do that. But like I say, these riders need, I think, sponsorship, people who help them, because we have good combinations who doesn't have really the money to do it. There are other people, they have the money, that makes it easier. But I think it's going uphill. Australia is a land like they go for it, you know. They just, and I love that. Yeah, it's a good mentality.
So that it's very encouraging, you think, for the future. So it's a matter of getting overseas and working at the top level.
Yeah, and the good thing is also there are many good instructors coming overseas. But still you compete just in your own country. So I think by times it's good when you have the possibility to go for a couple months and just do some competitions there, and working with good trainers, that would be still more improve the dressage in all Australia.
Well, thank you very much for sharing all of your thoughts with us, Carlos. And thank you for watching, and that's goodbye from the Brisbane Dressage Festival from tophorse.com.au.